everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Raw in Wonderland. Today, we're stepping into the heart of the house, the kitchen. But this isn't just a place for cooking, it's a place for creativity, nostalgia, rituals, and comfort. For me, the kitchen isn't just about making food, it's about the experience, the atmosphere, and the small moments that make life richer. From childhood memories of baking with family to the simple joy of making coffee in the morning, today's episode is all about kitchen therapy. How the kitchen is not just a place to prepare meals, but a space for self expression, mindfulness, and connection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dive in. As you can easily guess, my favorite place in the house is the kitchen. Not just because I love cooking, but because it's my sanctuary. I love being in the kitchen even when I'm not cooking. Sometimes I just sit there with my coffee and a book. Other times I chat with a close friend over cups of coffee, standing by the counter as if the kitchen itself invites deeper conversations. And then there's the magic of baking. If I have something in the oven, a cake, cookies, or bread, I find myself mesmerized by the process. Like the way the dough rises, the way the aroma fills the air, the golden crust forming, it's something no cookbook can fully prepare you for. Every oven is different. Every kitchen has its own energy, and somehow you just develop an intuition for when things are just right. The kitchen is also a place where elements transform. Heat, air, water, ingredients all come together to create something entirely new. It's a place of alchemy, and honestly, I don't believe that cooking is just a mechanical process. It's not just about combining ingredients in the right order. Cooking carries emotions. What I listen to, what I think about, what I feel while cooking, all of it gets infused into the food. That's why I see cooking as more than just a task. It's a deeply personal and creative act. I see cooking as a form of therapy. For me, the kitchen is also a space for abundance. Thinking about a house where the kitchen is never used makes me a little sad. Of course, no one has to cook. Some people truly dislike it, and that's completely fine. But a house where the stove is never lit, where no one even makes a simple cup of coffee, that feels like a missed opportunity. And that's something I often tell friends when they feel overwhelmed in life. Even if you don't like to cook, even if you prefer ordering in, try making one thing for yourself. Make a cup of coffee at home. Bake a simple cookie. Let the scent of vanilla, cinnamon, or lemon fill the air. It's a way of grounding yourself, of creating a moment of warmth and presence. Cooking isn't just about eating. It's about using your hands, shaping dough, chopping vegetables, stirring a pot. It activates your senses, lowers stress, and even stimulates brain function. And most importantly, it reconnects you with yourself. Let's talk about my kitchen memories, starting from my grandmother's kitchen. I often think about how my relationship with the kitchen goes all the way back to childhood. Food is connected to memories, traditions, and the people we share meals with. My maternal grandmother had a huge kitchen. It was always full of people, family, friends, neighbors, gathering around an enormous table. Cooking for her wasn't just about making food. It was also a social ritual. She could easily feed a surprise group of 20 guests at any moment. Her kitchen was always ready. There was a sense of abundance and generosity. I loved watching her work. She had a system. Everything had its place. Every ingredient had a purpose. I remember the giant trays of bread and pastries being baked in the neighborhood bakery, the homemade jars of olives and preserves, and the long afternoons spent making tomato paste and pickles with her friends. And then there was her storage room, a small, magical pantry filled with jars of homemade jams, spices, dried fruits, and olive oil. It felt like a secret treasure room, stocked with flavors from different seasons, different places. She had a simple philosophy: food is meant to be shared. She would offer food to anyone who entered her house, whether it was a guest, a neighbor, or even a worker fixing something in the house. To her, feeding someone was an act of love. But I also saw how giving too much could sometimes backfire. She would often give away things meant for me, just because she thought someone else needed them more. I remember coming home one day to find that a special gift, something that was meant for me, had been given away to another child. I was too young to fully understand, but I never forgot that moment. It made me realize something. Giving is beautiful, but boundaries are important too. There are different ways we approach cooking. Not everyone approaches cooking the same way. My paternal grandmother, for example, was completely different. She cooked alone. She didn't want help. She didn't want distractions. She would lock herself in the kitchen and emerge hours later with a full feast as if by magic. In that way, I'm more like her. When I cook, I prefer to do it alone, focusing on the process. I like to turn on some music or a podcast, get lost in the rhythm of chopping, stirring, and baking. Meanwhile, my mother's cooking style is experimental. She takes inspiration from different cultures, recipes, and friends. She'll ask chefs about ingredients, modify traditional recipes, and fearlessly try. Her approach to cooking has taught me something important. There are no strict rules. If something doesn't turn out perfect, no big deal. Try again. Play with flavors. See what happens. Cooking teaches us a lot about life. It teaches us patience. It teaches us creativity. It teaches us to trust the process. For me, the kitchen is more than just a place to make food. It's where I learn about myself, where I experiment, where I embrace imperfection. It's where I slow down and appreciate simple pleasures: the scent of fresh bread, the sound of coffee brewing, the warmth of a homemade meal. And whether you love cooking or not, I believe that everyone can find a little magic in the kitchen, even if it's just making a simple cup of coffee with care. Thank you joining me in this episode of Raw in Wonderland. I hope this inspired you to look at the kitchen with fresh eyes, not as a chore, but as a sanctuary of creativity, warmth, and self care. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and always keep a warm cup of something nearby. Bye, guys!